crystal clear clarity on not what I want to do, what I need to do. And that is win the undisputed WWE Universal Championship belt.
Cody Rhodes is at the top of the WWE roster at the moment, and many fans are waiting for him to finish his story and finally be world champion. He has been wrestling for 17 years, and his roots are deep within the industry. Being a superstar that is active for 17 years comes with a lot of accomplishments and interesting backstage stories. This is Wrestle Heat, and in this video, we will be talking about 5 of the most interesting backstage stories involving Cody Rhodes. The infamous WrestleMania loss versus Santino Marella. Back in 2009, Santino Marella was a fan favorite in the WWE roster and was constantly making headlines, whether being eliminated from the Royal Rumble in record time, winning the Intercontinental Championship, or sitting on the sidelines while his sister, Santina, dominated as well. And for Cody Rhodes, he was part of the legacy with Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase Jr., dominating the roster as one of the top factions at the time, and giving us one of the most dangerous heel Orton phases ever. One day, however, backstage, Cody Rhodes made a joke at Santino Marella's body shape. This joke led Santino Marella to issue a bodybuilding competition challenge at Cody Rhodes, to be done at the WrestleMania 25 after party. Backstage, the rest of the roster were all loving it, and they made sure to build up hype for it, even making posters parodying the Bag of Power split cover. For Cody Rhodes, it was just a small funny competition that they are gonna laugh about. He even went as far as posing in a cheap pair of Walmart men's bikini trunks. But for Santino, it was serious. He showed up to the competition in fantastic shape, dropping 27 pounds, lathered in baby oil, and trained with a professional bodybuilder to learn all the skills needed to execute the best poses. As far as the judges, they were drunk Undertaker, drunk William Regal, and drunk Vince McMahon, while Triple H was the one coordinating the competition and calling out the poses. Cody was young and brash, and we were jaw-jacking back and forth. He called me fat, and I said, yeah, maybe I'm fat, but I could lose this weight, and if I do, I'll have a bodybuilding contest and beat you. Everyone was egging us on, so we set the date for the WrestleMania 25 after party. Months and months of preparation, and I went from 230 pounds to 203 pounds. I did my hour of cardio every day. I got a posing instructor and professional tights. I basically used competition to bring out the best in me. This is what Santino had to say in an interview with Ryan Ryder on Main Event Radio. Santino Marella shook everyone and actually won the contest, beating Cody Rhodes. WrestleMania was big, and it is still one of the most interesting backstage stories regarding Cody Rhodes. But moving on, did you know that Cody was meant to win the Money in the Bank not once, but twice? Cody Rhodes was always a star, but he was a star that never got the chance to really shine and take over the main event scene. He was always seen as a great wrestler, a reliable superstar, but not main event worthy, as he never really got the chance to rise to the top. There was a time, however, when WWE creatives wanted to take a shot at boosting Cody to the top of the roster by having him win the Money in the Bank in 2012 when he was in SmackDown. This would have meant Rhodes would have his big break at challenging for the World Championship and show what kind of superstar he really is. Unfortunately, things didn't really fall into place for Cody, and the WWE creatives decided to give Dolph Ziggler the opportunity instead, and they had him win the briefcase. Of course, Ziggler's cash-in moment was one of the best ever, seeing him finally hold gold. But for Cody Rhodes, it was just another missed opportunity that he had to watch sitting from afar. The following year, however, it was again Cody's turn to be put into the spotlight. Everything was planned perfectly, and he was informed that he was the one winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. Cody was ready for his big break finally, that he dreamt about for so long. But unfortunately, history would repeat itself, and at the final moments before the match, WWE changed their minds and decided to give Damien Sandow the opportunity at winning the briefcase and getting his big break. But as we know, Damien went on to absolutely do nothing. Sandow lost his cash-in match to John Cena, and everyone was confused, thinking what was the point of having him win the briefcase if they were just gonna have him lose the match. They could have used this opportunity to push a young wrestler like Rhodes to the top. This led to the downfall of Cody Rhodes, after he debuted the gimmick Stardust that he is trying to make people forget about ever since, and then left the company a few years later. But even before he left, everyone in the higher ups of the WWE believed that Cody Rhodes, when he was part of the legacy, was the weak link amongst the three. When Randy Orton became the leader of his own faction and started the legacy with Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase Jr., the goal of it, as per stories told by WWE creators backstage, was to make the son of the $1 Million Man, which was Ted DiBiase, a big star. And when you look at the moments the group had and which member took on the important segments, you can start to see how this was true. Right from the start, Ted DiBiase came into the WWE with a microphone in his hands, already cutting his own promos, saying how he was destined for greatness. And if you look at how booking went on with the group, you can start to see it. In the Elimination Chamber match in 2010, it was Ted DiBiase and not Cody that pinned Orton. Cody was on the outside and slipped his third-generation partner a lead pipe, but Ted DiBiase was the one to make the big move. Similarly, at WrestleMania, when the three faced off, Randy Orton pinned Cody Rhodes to win the match, and not Ted DiBiase, as a way to show that Cody was the weak one. And Ted did not get pinned, and he still held his level. But in the end, things actually turned out way different than what was planned. Ted ended up being given his father's gimmick, while Cody made Dashing gimmick work. But shortly after, they both left the company. Ted DiBiase went on to have troubles with the law after being charged in Mississippi welfare fraud, and Cody Rhodes continued to grow outside the WWE, and then he returned and is finally getting his big superstar main event push he always deserved. But before he returned to the WWE, Cody Rhodes made history outside of it when he created the wrestling pay-per-view event All In, all from a bet. Following his departure from WWE, Rhodes began wrestling on the independent circuit, also making several appearances in TNA. He wrestled under the shortened name Cody, due to WWE owning the Cody Rhodes name, until 2020 when WWE surrendered their trademark. All In was a groundbreaking show that really did prove to be a turning point for the independent wrestling scene. It was the show that proved there was an audience for another legitimate company to come in and rival WWE. It was Cody Rhodes that helped take the show live after he accepted a bet from Dave Meltzer about how many seats a non-WWE event could sell. The 2018 All In was an independent professional wrestling pay-per-view event promoted by Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks in association with Ring of Honor. The event was notable for being the first non-WWE or WCW promoted professional wrestling event to sell 10,000 tickets since 1993 in the United States. The success of the event inspired the formation of AEW in January 2019. Cody went on to help the creation of AEW and serving as its executive vice president. And after a great run, it all ended in 2022 after a failed contract negotiation that led to his departure from AEW and his return to WWE at WrestleMania 38 that April, defeating Seth Rollins. Now, speaking of Cody's return and Seth Rollins, our final backstage story involves these two superstars and a lot of jealousy. When Cody Rhodes returned, his hype was the biggest out of all the superstars on the roster. Suddenly, Cody was at the top of the roster, fans were cheering him all the time, and the pop at his entrance was getting louder and louder every time. Cody ended up winning the 2023 Royal Rumble and went on to challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39 for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Fans were loving it, but there was one person that despised everything that had to do with Cody Rhodes, and the way he returned straight into the main event after spending 2 years outside the company trying to tear it down. This man is Seth Rollins. At the time, Rollins was also a huge star and fans loved him. He was getting a great push and was on his way to the main event scene. But the idea that he spent the past few years in the WWE working as hard as he can to become a top main event star, only for it to be taken away from him by a person that not only left the company and came back, but also started a rival company and took shots at the WWE, did not sit well with Rollins at all, and it even led to a heated argument backstage that was very close to turning into a fistfight. Seth Rollins is the closest I've ever had to backstage turning into a fistfight in front of all of our peers and upper management. It didn't happen. Him and I absolutely can't stand one another. I'd probably try and rip his eyes out, said Cody Rhodes. When Seth was asked about the situation in an interview with Daniel Cormier of ESPN, he said, "I can't get into so many details on that. There is a level of truth to that. The bottom line is, I feel, based on my body of work and what I've contributed to this company over the course of the last decade, I should be in that position. I'm the one who has held it down while he drifted off and went and did his own thing. Respect to him. Great. He drifted off and did his own thing. I'm the one who held it down." There are a ton of stories I could tell about that, but I don't. I keep it to myself. I put my head down. I work hard. I vouch for this company. I feel like what he's getting, I'm just not entirely comfortable with that. This just creates some natural friction between the two of us. Seth's frustration with what happened is understandable, but it did end up going well for him, as the new World Heavyweight Championship was announced later, and Seth was the one to win it, making him the face of the Raw brand and the holder of one of the two top titles in the WWE, alongside Roman Reigns being the WWE Champion. Cody Rhodes is a legend in this industry, and he is still just getting started. WrestleMania 40 is on the way, and the fans can't wait for him to finally finish his story. We hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any new content, and we'll see you next time.